Hi, my name is Juliana Balluffi-Fry, and I am a PhD student at the University of Alberta, and I study snowshoe hares in Kluane, Yukon. I'm particularly interested in how these creatures survive and reproduce from a nutritional standpoint because they have such high metabolisms and they are faced with long, harsh winters where there's not a lot of food available, and they're then thrown into the spring season to reproduce. And so for my PhD, I'm just trying to figure out exactly what these animals need to feed on in order to survive winter and how the climate and environment impacts what is available and how that might in turn impact their behavior, survival, foraging. To do this, I designed a series of feeding trials that I began last winter, and those went quite well. Everything worked according to plan, and we're actually going to double the sample size this winter. And essentially what I did in those feeding trials was I tested 4 formulated diets. I formulated these diets with the help of some researchers at the Canadian Feed Research Centre in Saskatchewan. And what these diets mean to represent are the variation across species that snowshoe hares normally feed on in the winter, and also extended up to the composition of rabbit chow that we've used in the past in various food ad experiments. I decided to tackle the variation in protein and fiber content in natural foods and rabbit chows because there's been some evidence that snowshoe hares actually try to balance the intake of protein and fiber while foraging. And what my feeding trials found was as we move from diet A to diet B, which covers the range of nutritional content in these natural browse species, that snowshoe hares go from not being able to maintain any weight to actually being able to maintain weight over the course of the feeding trial. So we do observe through these feeding trials that small incremental shifts in protein and fiber content within foods are actually really significant towards snowshoe hare body condition and performance during winter, as we saw that change from diet A to diet B being really important. This suggests that snowshoe hares might be susceptible to any environmental changes that could slightly shift the available nutrients in their ecosystem. For example, snow depth. As you can watch in this GIF of a willow shrub over winter, you can see that as snow increases, a lot of the branches get pushed down, making them available, but also some get covered. It's a highly dynamic process, and measuring availability of shrubs over winter is clearly not as simple as it sounds. So this winter I am taking what I'm learning from my feeding trials and applying it to a free-range foraging study with snowshoe hares and willow and spruce, the 2 dominant browse species during winter. And what I've done is I've set up 38 camera traps pointed at willow shrubs, the browse that is the most dynamic with snow. And these cameras will be watching willow all winter long to see what proportion of twigs are available at what snow depths. And I've also taken a lot of samples from willow and spruce at these same height classes, and I'm analyzing them for protein, fiber, and energy. I should be able to, at the end of this, have a good estimate of how much protein and fiber and potentially energy is available on the study grids across the winter at varying snow depths. While that is ongoing, I'm also collaring snowshoe hares on these same study grids with accelerometers, or little Fitbit type devices that will monitor their behavior as they go about their business. One of the behaviors that I'm the most interested in is time spent foraging. So I'll be able to see if hares need to forage more or less as total food and nutrient availability becomes more or less. And in addition, I'm also collecting fecal pellets from the same areas, and I will be monitoring hare nutritional status via crude protein content Overall, hopefully my PhD in this winter field study can give us a better sense of how these animals might fare with any shifts in climate and snowfall, and just overall give us a better idea of how browse herbivores in the boreal forest can actually survive. And with that, I just need to thank WCS for 3 years of funding, which has gone towards my field work, diet formulations for feeding trials, and a lot of lab analyses. And thank you to all my other financial supporters and everybody who has helped me with this project so far. And happy year